Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited, unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.
I assume that this will be a contract for at least a year, if not more. But I don't think that it will take up my full time. I expect that it's about half my capacity.
And where do you need help from us right now?
Maybe to have a second pair of eyes to take a look at the contract if that comes up. I did contract review, but some things are different in Canada than they are in Europe. I worked a lot with construction contracts, so I'm pretty savvy there. But if there are questions about certain clauses which are not apparent, then that would be something I would ask. And then I have some other challenges because of the volume. Then I would consider to incorporate. That would be the next step. Once the framework is there, because then it would make sense.
That's okay.
I want to do that early enough.
Okay. But you still show the word of the day on.
Oh yeah. That's all the daily post, the quote, and the word of the day, the focus word or simplify word.
However, I don't see it every day. Like when I see it, I like it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I comment, sometimes I share. So if I don't like it, if I don't share it, if I don't comment on it, it means that it did not come through my normal feed.
Yeah.
But the second thing for you is I do have a very semi-consistent, very close to consistent pattern of when I will access social media.
Yeah.
So a specific time of the day usually, and for a specific number of hours. So it's very consistent, maybe like 5 days a week at least. So if I don't interact with your media, it means it doesn't come through my feed.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure what the implication here.
I tried several, so I did some changes, because if you always post with the same hashtags, for example, then I heard they're scaling it down because it always looks like the same. So the photo itself has always a different name, and now I put the word of the day as a name as a hashtag, which is pretty cool. I get some responses there, and I put the word also in the free text. So if it's like faithful, then I have it as faithful in there, and faithful, hashtag faithful, or hashtag honest, or hashtag gratitude, which also gives me more views. So you can see that that's helpful, and it makes it a unique post every day. Because before that, I had always the main text with the same hashtags, and only the photo was different, and the running number of the photo was like focus word 101, 102, 103. And I'm creating a calendar right now with all the quotes, so that next year I will mix it up a little bit, and then move also certain words to certain days where they have more meaning. I did, for example, put the word love for Valentine's Day, and I want to do that a little bit more, and then have a full automated.
So why you don't look at? There is something called the day.
The day off.
The day off, yeah.
Yeah.
Because apparently in the 365 days we have a year, there is about maybe a couple of thousand day off.
Yeah.
Because there are so many days which they do have day off in different regions.
Yeah.
So, like for example, the 21st of March is the Mother Day in Middle East, and also Mother's Days, and the 21st of March is the official start of spring.
Yeah.
And the 21st of March in Ukraine, it's another event. So We have the same for Remembrance Day.
Good morning.
In the morning, right?
Sorry for being late.
No, that's okay. So as long as you can, if you want to have the matching procedure, why you don't match it in this way?
So I do have
Just an idea.
yeah, I have certain things I want to do with that. One is the day of the week, or the day off, what we talked about with the meaning. I did this for certain days like May the 4th, Valentine's Day, some of those.
That's
or
Star Wars Day.
International, May the 4th be with you. That was one of my posts. And then one.
So the word on May the 4th, the way will be what? Force? The word will be what on May the 4th?
Well, in order to be found 100%, you have to use all 4 different ways of writing. May the 4th with TH.
Yeah.
May the Force be with you. May the 4th be written out.
Yeah. But the word itself will be what? Force? The word you put in the square.
I think I.
Like, because you have the square, you write the word.
Yeah. I think I used 4th.
Okay.
4th, yeah.
Okay.
Why did I put the number?
It's okay. Just.
I don't remember.
It's okay. Just.
Because then that was a reused.
What'd you use for 420 Day?
Huh?
Yeah.
What'd you use for 420?
Isn't it Hitler's birthday?
420? What is that? Really?
Yeah.
What, you don't know? What is that?
People smoked for
Don't you have any kids?
Huh?
You have any kids?
No.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, that's why.
It's International Pot Day,
Oh.
Marijuana Day.
Okay. Yeah, and I never smoked, so therefore.
And this international day.
This is how I did it. I put the 4th there. because
Yeah,
that's,
yeah, yeah.
And I
yeah.
remember I did this because that catches your eye for
Yeah.
people who are more looking for numbers.
Yeah.
So, company name is My Simplify Coach. So you will always find very simple things, reduced to the minimum. All the posts are the quote posts are all on orange background.
Yeah.
And
This is the branding for it.
then-
Orange and gray.
yeah.
What the hell are we looking at?
This is all post.
Is that Instagram?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't do the Instagram.
Yeah, so it's daily. One focus word and one quote.
Okay.
And with the quotes I'm collecting right now, I will do something different too, because all the wisdom and all the secrets everyone talks about, if you go back in the past, you will find this, and you will find how just the switch of a little bit of wording, people use like quotes from Seneca in the 1800s and then in the 2000s by just switching it around.
Yeah.
So people go for the main quotes and make it their own. And this is stuff I want to, so that's stuff I'm preparing on the side as I recognize certain things. And I want to remember in the very beginning with the focus word, when it looked a little bit different, I did my first videos as a video, but as a slideshow video, and on SoundCloud as an audio file. And I want to do this too, but then explain something to each word, and have that either later in this year, preparing it in the later this year, and then post that on the daily base with what I've generated this year.
One also suggestion you may want to do is take the focus word, make it as like 3, 4, 5 images, and create a video out of it, and then share this little video. There's so many people doing it right now on Facebook.
Yeah.
Where you basically give you an image, but the image is actually a repeated video. So the image is not an image; it's actually a video.
Yeah, that's
Well,
really
actually, yeah, I did this with the focus word in the beginning, where I used Windows, what is that, Movie Maker, and then the word came in.
No, not even the word work. You can have the same image.
Yeah.
But so you put it in a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah.
And then you make like half a second delay,
Yeah.
and you repeat the image again on 2 different slides.
Yeah.
And then you go export as video.
Yeah.
So this will give you like a 5-second video of the image, but it will be a video, not an image. And then
how is that perceived differently?
the problem we see here, to answer this correctly, the problem is we don't know really how Facebook or Google or any of these will rank and make decision what will come through other people's feed. So this is nobody can. People are guessing, because maybe I was intimidated by yours. Like I liked maybe like 6, 7, 8 posts of yours, but maybe 1 or 2 of each of them. So most likely they will feel like I like yours first. So people are having interpretation based on observation, but there is no science behind it. Nobody really understands how these algorithms work, because
So
they
does
don't.
everybody see my video? Because I'm seeing this Facebook's new algorithm and stuff like that. Share this, share that.
Yeah.
And
So
they're saying Facebook's starting to cut back what I see.
and
Is that really happening? Because
Yes.
all of a sudden, I think, okay, I haven't heard from this person in forever.
it's about
and all of a sudden, they say,
2
hey,
months
I
ago.
like that.
2 months ago, I
Yeah.
think 2, 3 months ago, the
Yeah.
feeds start to change. That's right.
Yeah.
So it was a theory or a myth, whatever it is, that if you have a video content, you will give a higher ranking for your posts because they are video based.
Mm.
So I start to see like people will come with just an image of like there is a group talk about the 70s and 60s, what's happening. So they give like a, or even like President Trump is like this, and then it's an image. It doesn't have a sound.
Yeah.
But it's still, if you look in the bottom here, there you'll find like it's like 5 or 10 seconds
Yeah.
video. So one way
Yeah,
to
I've seen
create
it.
this video is to have the image inside a PowerPoint.
Yeah.
You put one slide, first slide is the image, second slide is the same image. And you make an automatic play of like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, or whatever longer.
Yeah.
And then you export them as video. So this will give you a video.
My second point that I really wanted to emphasize was I noticed in your pictures you have the picture and like the words, and then your comment section, or like your what you write about it is the same thing. I would tell what that quote means to you or what that word means to you, and just a little snippet of who you are, because people are going to buy that story. So 80% of the time you're going to look in the picture and you're going to say like the quote, and it's going to look cool, and then you say, well, this applies to me, or a time where I used this, or the time where I thought of this is this. And
But
just say 2
if you write it in this way, do you agree that now you are segregated your audience to either like you or dislike you, so they are not neutral? It's just a thought. I'm not. I first time hear this now,
Okay,
and
yeah.
here we are not offending anybody. We are not.
No.
We
I
just have
got
a.
that advice
so-
from a client a couple days ago, because he came to me wanting network marketing help, and I was like, oh boy. And then he's like, I just don't know how to use social media or Facebook. And then he told me that one of his things that he's consistently doing, and he's read a lot of books about, is putting a story with your post. And I've been trying that out the last couple days, and I don't know, it just makes you think a little bit differently. But it kind of adds some variance, because when I first saw your page, I just saw the same picture, like the same graphic and the same for both of them. And so mixing it up is really easy. There's a website called Canva, and you can
I'm
make,
using it.
good.
This is what I'm doing the things.
Canva can make just even like little touches using the same colors would allow everything to kind of stick out. But I get your point with having it the same, so that every day people are scrolling.
That was
So
that
there are
was
2 points. There are 2 points you brought in here to my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong. Number one is consistency. So I would be biased toward having a consistent view, because the business he's selling needs consistent behavior every day. And he's a simplified coach. He's from Germany, which is much not, which is honest.
No
honest.
judgment
No judgment. No, I mean, like when I have a consistent view, and I have the same word, it will change. It has a value. If I want to change the graphics on a regular basis, it has a different perceptions.
Yeah.
The point I want to make sure we discuss it as a group right now is it true when I give what's my feeling toward a neutral quote or a neutral word? Will this segregate or divide my audiences, because now I'm giving my own definition, so people will agree with me or disagree with me? Or it's better to keep it neutral so I can be followed by both? I don't know, just
This-
Yeah.
This is the thing I mentioned that earlier, that I wanted to work on the meme for next year's post when I replenish those. Then I have 365, and I'm gonna repost them. That I put something about the meaning with
Something
the,
that
with, the, with the
connects it to
post,
you,
but I
yeah.
will do it as questions for the person who's consuming it, because that's coaching is all about asking questions so that you give your own answers. So I'm not telling my story and how I feel, because nobody really cares. I asked the question how you feel about and what that word could mean for you for the day. Something in this regard, and what the official meaning of the word is, what's in there. So to leave room for interpretation. That's what I'm thinking of trying out with the focus word, and then see what the response will be. So it will be a try period.
Okay.
And then of course, right now this is all for consistency. This is where you see the check.
Yeah.
Chessboard pattern. Even though I posted sometimes another post for the day, some of them I archived and took out. I left, for example, on May 4th, I had another post, but this one I archived later on in order to keep the appearance on there. And then there will be time for change in order to call it the new year, something like this.
So if you do it on WordPress and you have the 365 posts
Mhm.
going day by day, there are plugins where you can actually go and repeat them
Mhm.
every year. So you can make it on an auto post.
Yeah.
Is it? Good. Okay. Do you have any other?
That's for the consistency, and yeah, I haven't worked on the YouTube channel. That's something I want to do with what I'm working on when I expand on those groups, to have more automatically running in the background. Right now, if you post on Instagram, you still have to get some manual work in, and I haven't expanded on the posting platform, so I use Social Pilot or Buffer.
Okay, good.
Good.
Any other requests from the group?
No, that's it.
Good.
No, I think.
So Mike is your hot seat now. Where you
Clockwise.
where you stand? What are you looking for us for help?
Sitting right now.
Do you have any ideas you want to discuss? Like each one of us can take like 15 minutes or
Yeah.
so.
I'm just kind of working with what we had discussed on setting up my process and how I have to make my online content and my delivery with the different points, and speak to the different questions that we suggested, so we can kind of create some length to my videos. Yeah, it's still going.
Okay. Is there any request from the group?
But yeah, at this point, I didn't bring any requests with me. So.
Okay. Okay. My good friend.
I've been working on my book a lot lately, and I've also been working on my website, which is really cool. And yesterday, I have been getting testimonials from I have 19 clients, and I've been trying to get testimonials, and then looking at the structure of how I want to feature each client on the website. And that's kind of what I've been up to a lot the last month or two. And then the book is a new thing, and now I have more parts of this book about like a workbook and like speeches. And I've set a goal to want to at least do one speech by the end of the summer, so I can have that credibility added to my book and to my workbook to kind of promote my program of the 12 steps, or not 12 steps, but however many steps I decide. The social media was an interesting one because I did talk to my client about that, and I've been implementing it into my posts. So now I'll post twice a day, at least twice a day, and there will be a story attached to it. So my dad just got some flowers in his garden, and then I kind of elaborated on what those flowers mean to him versus me, to my mom, to the family.
Yeah, but be careful here because.
This is my personal brand.
Yeah, but be careful because I can talk to you from experience.
Okay.
I was running for this big director, and I lined up all Iranians and Arabs engineers, and there are zillions of them professional engineers, as you know. And then suddenly I had Buffer. That's why I don't use Buffer. I don't use HotSuite or Buffer anymore. So I had HotSuite or Buffer, and I will go to CNN and pick up the business and pick up the business feed, and it will automatically share it on my walls. And suddenly, Mr. Obama decided to embrace same-sex marriage,
As you know, these-
and this came through CNN Business, which is nobody. Like I couldn't believe it. Like I avoid the CNN politics. CNN is good because they have these threads, so you can have business, you can have entertainment, you can have social.
Yeah.
So, and then I got this so many phone calls from people I line up to vote for me, say, "Are you with same-sex marriage?" And you guys know that anybody related to a religion or belief, they may disagree with it. So now I have been featured in a different, specific way. And when I was asked, I said, "It's my own input. I don't really talk about it. It's my own ideas, and this is not for public use. Like I support it. I support people freedom, but it's not. I don't share it with people. Just this is my own. I don't share it. And the contest did not require me to share it, but so many just did not vote for me, and it went around me like this was like 3-4 years ago. The whole community that I'm supporting same-sex marriage, and this before same-sex marriage became as a mainstream in our culture, where people will debate, is this good or bad for the society? Now, with converging, having like 3-4 years on the legislation, in the US in particular, people now start to accept it.
Yeah.
So this was, you have to be careful that your followers will not judge you. The second example I can share with you, I love Donald Trump. I love him. He's the best personal brand. Do I agree with every single thing he's doing it? No. No, and you cannot agree with every single thing. But you agree on Donald Trump is the best brand in the market right now. Is this the brand which is since he said, I want to go for an election, he kept the whole media talking about him till today. Like if you open any media outlet, maybe 60, 70, 80% of the news, if it's not 100%, is on him and his brand. That's right?
Right.
So there
So
are
I'm just
people who will
curious.
make a decision that he's a bad guy and they
Right.
don't. So they associate everybody supporting or in love with this guy as a bad guy. I don't agree with majority of the material he's doing. I don't agree with many of this as everybody. But I admire him as a self-made major brand.
Mhm.
Okay? So this is another controversy, which is if I bring it up to my social media, you'll see people stop following you.
Right. How does that relate to me? I love the points, but how does that relate to like me waking up at 7 in the morning and like posting a picture with my dog?
But putting a picture with your dog is good. And the point I want to make is if you want to get into your own story,
Right.
you have to be careful
Of the biases.
of
'Cause if
the perception, because remember when we talked about it, we talked about the phones, right? I think it's here. It's still here. We talked about this point here somewhere, where people actually they receive what they receive based on their selected attention.
Right.
They perceive using their biased interpretation. So one example of the biased interpretation is it I am good for Donald Trump or not, or Donald Trump is bad, or whatever the interpretations they have against the guy. And then people will retain with their biased memory. So you don't want them to retain that you are.
So like avoiding controversial topics is what you're trying to say.
Yes. Now, what are the topics? I don't know. Because you'll be shocked how many people will be cynical, skeptical and cynical because sometimes they just.
And that's what I'm scared of the most in business. My mom tells me this all the time. It's just like watch everything that you say and everything that you post because or everything that you like, and it sucks because everything is changing all the time. And if I like something, like I don't know, just like the possibility of it coming back to bite me, I get that, but then the living in the fear that I can't.
It's not living in the fear, it's managing the outcome because we understand also from the science that if people want to convert, you have to be consistent. That's right.
Right.
So if I am consistent, people will comply or will be persuaded.
You'll be able to build credibility with whoever your message is to them.
Right.
So they will see you as the same person all the time.
Right.
So for example, I look at Facebook, and sometimes I go, oh, I want to see what their other feeds are and other posts. And sometimes I see, oh, wait a sec, they're pro Horgan in BC, right?
Yeah.
I'm going, okay, that doesn't sit good with me,
Mhm.
right? All of a sudden, I made that value interpretation because of something that you may have said or stuff like that, which will skew maybe our relationship going forward.
And some
Right.
people are clear as Michael is and doing these decisions consciously, but a lot of people would do it subconsciously without even thinking about what you posted about people. Because sometimes you'll go into a post and be like, "That's a bunch of crap. Let's see who posted it."
Yeah.
And without even paying attention to it, you're relating that person to fake news or news that you don't want to see.
Yeah.
And you end up unfollowing them. And I think what Lyle is trying to say is just for you to be clear about what you're posting and what your message is.
Right.
Do it mindful. Nothing changes what you like and what you don't like. Just be mindful and aware. If you hit the like button, that's the only thing.
Like
Right.
I might make a comment on The Voice,
Second,
but I won't make a comment on a Jersey Shore episode,
Right.
right? Because all of a sudden I could be skewed and, oh, he watches senseless TV that's just,
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
He likes Snooki.
yeah, right. So,
Yeah.
even in those cases, it's being mindful. Where do you want to be so that you're not controversial or doing anything that's going to rock the boat or upset your tribe?
Because right now I've kind of stuck to my Facebook as only posting either like an adventure that I'm out with my friends, like if I go camping or something, or I'll post something
Camping and going to nature, it just
that's
blows people mind away because everybody have the desire
Mhm.
of being there. So if you go camping or you go and just make posts from there, this will be maybe the third highest following posts after animals, after the food.
After cats?
After
Before cats.
after cats.
After cats.
Like the food.
right.
If you understand the value between what's your table and your mouse, which is opposed to your social media, this will be highly attracted because people are just crazy about food. I don't know why, but this is usually people like it. The second one are kids, animals, or kids and pets because in these nations people are using pets as their kids. That's right. They say I have 2 boys and 1 girl and 2 dogs and 1 cat. Okay,
Sometimes they start with the pets before
Yeah.
their own kids.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind away. And it's like,
What is
really?
that?
Yeah. So
True.
any pet's story or any kid's story or any baby's story. However, babies and kids now we are more alerted that their privacy is in compromise because when you launch about your kids, you are exposing them out. So people are now putting less and less about their kids,
Right.
because of the exposure. And the third one is nature. If you can, I know I have a customer in South Alberta, and she just lives in front of the mountains. And the 2 days she was not putting photos for the mountains today. Even when it's cloudy, she will put the mountains. When it's cloudy, like you cannot see anything. Like here's the mountain today, it's cloudy. When she didn't post for like couple of 3-4 days or so, we were reaching out to her. Okay, so what's happening? Why you are not posting? She said because I just went somewhere else for a visit, and I think so. People will always talk about the nature.
So this is my personal brand. This isn't my business brand.
There is no
There
difference.
is no-
Kind of. So with the personal brand, I want to make it clear that I have stayed away from posting or commenting or sharing on these controversial things. I'll send it in a private message if I have to my friends, which is kind of funny, but I've stayed away from that. So I guess my question is regarding social media, making sure that they interpret it neutrally as well as expressing myself. That's what I want to get.
So, Shamir, do you want to answer his question? How to make sure that they will interpret your message on social media neutrally and you are expressing yourself at the same time.
I would, there are certain words you don't use that would trigger others, and you can't control how other people react. But if there is if there's an acknowledgement that, so an example, somebody says, I wish Trudeau was dead because of all this crap. So there's not an easy way to respond, but if you have an opinion on there, saying maybe Trudeau's doing the right thing with certain things, you can say, first acknowledge, I understand how this may come across. So it's an acknowledgement of somebody's expression and honoring of that person's views. So I'm not shooting you
No,
down.
this is you responding to that post.
I know.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's whoever writes a post that comes across to you as inflammatory, or you having to see when you respond to a post and you feel people are going to take it wrong. It's because somebody has set it up for you that you can either really oppose what they're saying or support what they're saying very strongly. Taking a neutral stance is not taking a stance. So you have to take a position. The thing is, to take a position, you need to acknowledge those that are opposing to your position first.
Okay.
That's the important part.
Right.
Is to acknowledge them in a neutral stance. I understand why you feel this is the thing. Here's how I look at it. Do you agree? Those kind of three kind of structured things you put in there, it's very hard for people to get angry. I was in an argument with somebody, just on a verbal. This guy is an emotional intelligence master. Like he wrote the book on emotional intelligence. I challenged him. I said, you have no idea how to close and convert in a meme. Like, I was angry. When he responded to me, I felt I was hit by a truck, but at the same time I was hugged by a truck.
Yeah.
It was like I didn't know whether he was mad at me or he was acknowledging me. Okay, so it's important for you to first acknowledge, state your opinion, and then say, what do you think? Give me your views. So now you're inviting them into an intellectual dialogue rather than a personal attack.
And then, yeah, that's how you would comment, or if somebody does ask you, what do you think of the games? You're like, this is a really controversial topic right now. And you react.
See, I can understand why this is. Right. To me, I would start at the very basics and say, I believe that people should love one another.
Yeah.
Start there.
Right.
No one's going to dispute with you.
Okay.
Good. That's good.
So,
Good. Let's move on.
Okay.
Who wants next hot seat? Bakri or Shamir? It's your turn.
So
Then.
you can go first.
And about hot, it's I like the relativity comment on it. They said you can sit with a hot girl for 4 hours, but you cannot put your butt for 1 minute on hot stove. That's right. So hot is relative. This is what's called relativity. Okay.
Where am I starting?
So the question is where you stand right now, where you stuck. Do you have any ask for the group? Do you have any topic you want to have clarity on it, discussing it? Where your programs are. And it can be program, it can be business, it can be wherever. You're like,
It's developing the product. I have all the components. I've got all the components of a product. I do a Monday morning 15-minute webinar. I have about 7 to 8 people attend, and I get emails saying, I love your stuff. I don't get a chance to attend live, but I'm always listening to it. So I get 30% clicks on my, of the 300 people I have that are registered on this program. I have 30% of them, so 100 people click on my videos, but I see the thing.
wow.
So, I mean, I'd like to have tens of thousands of people. So the question I have is, how do I explode? Thanks, buddy. How do I explode? How do I reach more people? And I mean, I can only do so many workshops and get 10 or 15 people drawn to that. So how do I reach more people? How do I get? Because I know what I have to offer is of value. I just need to.
What's your problem? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Yeah. What I do is
Actually, I should inject here because I want to inject here. I want to stop here because the idea of approaching more people, it should be 90-80% irrespective of the product. So I don't want to get it into the nature of his products first. We can talk about this later, but I want to just open it up to another discussion: is how can you reach more people with A B C D F products which has no descriptions?
Okay, that's.
I think this might be more helpful, because if we know his products, which is most all of us knows what he's doing.
I don't
Okay.
have a clue.
Yeah, but so if we affirm, I want to answer. I want to elaborate on this for, if you allow me, in 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, like, we don't know what our products are, because our products are adaptive to. This is my car.
That is good.
This is my camera. It's not working. Okay, so we don't know what our products are. We go on a path or a trip or a journey where we develop products, and when people buy and attracted to these products, we keep morphing them, making them better to keep attracting them. So he can offer 3, 4, 5, maybe 10 different products right now, as he said right now. So the question is, on which channels these products will work. So if I know how to reach people, I can restructure, reposition my products. So how can we reach more people for a product? Which is, he mentioned, like 15 minutes webinar.
Okay.
That's right?
It's mainly online products.
Yeah, online, mainly online products. So
That's what I would like to chip in on. What I was just talking about was splitting it up into earn, share versus stimulate demand. So the question is that you need to start asking yourself is: are you trying to get more people that use your product, or that use the product similarly, or are you trying to get more of the pie, like more pie? So, like, let's say X amount of people. Some people are buying wine, right? Everybody buys like a collection of wine. How do you get that person to either who's buying a lot of your wine, to only buy your brand, or how do you get somebody who's not buying wine to see the value in wine and then come to your brand? So that's like the initial split. Is, are you wanting more of the pie, or do you want to make another pie? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because your target is to get, and then you got to ask yourself: are you trying to get more retention or acquisition? So you have your attention is: are you trying to get those 300 people to actively engage all the time, or are you or are you trying to acquire more customers? And both of them relate to the pie.
Okay.
So the answer to that question is, I got a wonderful lesson last summer. I was invited to co-present in a webinar, and he said that if we do that, we'll charge about $10 a register. Okay. Since I've got about 30,000 people on my list, 10,000 will probably register, or no, 1,000 will probably register. That's $10,000 for a 2-hour webinar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking at that saying, $10 for a webinar? Who wouldn't join you? But you've got 10,000 people. So high volume, low pricing will always get you more money, more volume, absolute value money, than will, less products but charging them higher. So that, I saw the money rolling in, and I said, if I do one of these a month, I don't need to do anything more, because then you can sell the replays, and this guy sells the replays. Now, because of that webinar, since about a year ago, every quarter I get like $1,000 US just on people, that 30,000 list he has. People come across this particular webinar, they buy it, I get 50% of that. So given that, and I actually experienced it, my strategy is to go high volume, which means I want a lot of people, and I want to drop my pricing low, and that's really what I'm trying to strategize. So how do you?
So can we partition this to a topic we do it after the break, called how to build your list?
Yeah.
Because I would like to talk about this particular topic today.
Can I just add something?
Yeah, but I don't wanna go to the board, because I wanna make sure everybody 15 minutes will be like 15 minutes. So
It's a 30-second
yeah, go ahead. No,
thing.
go ahead. Just I wanna continue the discussion. Like, I wanna
You're just telling me to shut up.
I wanna park a part. I wanna identify a part that we can discuss after the break, called how to build your list and grow your audience. Now keep going, because
No.
yeah. So keep going in the same.
Just really quick. What if you ask yourself a different question about the same topic?
Okay.
What would that be?
A different question about the same.
You're saying, how can I get more clients?
Right.
How can you reword that for you?
Right. So the other one is that how can I make a product that entices more clients to say, yeah, I want this.
And if you entice more clients into your business, what does that mean to you?
If I entice more clients in my business, I could grow my business that way.
Very good. I just want you to be present that your focus is on you. And that's what's keeping people away from you. I would invite you to have the focus on the value that you're providing people with and just carry on with that. And they're going to come after you. And just like what happened to Adam, people will come and hand you money just to learn from you.
And hand me hugs. Yesterday I had so many hugs.
There you go. And those are free.
No. Hugs after paying the invoice.
Okay.
It was amazing yesterday.
Are you still hanging around those woo-woo places? I don't think anybody else would give you hugs than those little.
No, these people actually have lots of money.
No, I'm not saying money, but I'm saying that you.
Oh yeah. This is a prime group. This is a prime group.
Were you actually getting physical hugs?
Which they need empowerment for business. You know.
But
But
you
the-
do baby cuddling at the hospital or something?
Did you spoon with them?
So coming back to your question is how we can reach more. How we can reach.
Inspire more people.
How can I inspire or how can I reach more? What are the channels of reaching more people right now?
That's right.
So this was a question we have. I parked a piece of it, which how we can grow up a list, and we can talk about it on the board after. So how can you help him on ways to reach more audience or more people who can join up his.
We'll definitely be on your list, and we're going to pass whatever value that we see in your product to our families and friends and people on our list.
But what other activity he can do?
Just doing stuff like providing value for, as a gift and reaching people and see where your service would fit with like what you're offering, where would it be well received? Who are the people that are going to benefit from it? And when you approach those people and with the right way of being and the right message, being customized to them, they'd be like, where the heck have you been all these years? We've been looking for someone like you. And a lot of times we're standing in our own way of being great and realizing how great we are and how valuable the service that you're providing is. So you get to have 3 or 4 coaches in your life to coach you on different aspects. We're here for business coaching. You can have a personal coach. You can have someone that you look up to and have him as a mentor without even him knowing, following his work, following the way he talks. I came here last weekend and I listened to Tony Robbins all the time. And just by the hook and the sequence that you showed us last weekend, and I was like, holy shit, Tony Robbins is using it. No wonder why I sit in front of him and I'd be like, I like everything that he's saying. So being aware of that, being aware of the customizing the message to have people engage. And all this would come from you realizing that you're providing an awesome service. I don't know what it is.
But do you agree that there is a point which you want to mention here is when you mentioned the partner who had 30,000 people on their list, the main goal for them to keep this list is not to sell services. Is to sell little workshops and little recording. So is it true that when we build our own lists to get people to be coached with us later on or buying more service from us, these are different objectives than somebody having like a 30,000?
Yeah, he actually keeps them fully engaged. Like he's.
But they don't buy from him high ticket programs.
Not in volumes, like all 30,000, but there's a subset of them, like 200 or 300, who go to his $3,000 events. So he offers. What he does is he has, he's part of an invited group of people that offer his services, and he travels all over the world doing that with other people. So he gets paid his share. But he also has his own retreats that he gets paid, and then he has his, $47 programs. So he's got a range of buffet to do that. In that 10,000, he's got people who pay the $47, who pay the $7, who pay the $3,000. and they'll travel all the way from like he's got people all over Russia, all Czechoslovakia, Romania, U.S., Canada.
Did you get any direct clients out of this?
Oh yeah.
So you got okay.
Yeah, and I'm doing well. It's just what it is. My challenge is scaling up. So I'm hitting a wall now.
And sustaining the business also will require you to maintain a specific volume of potential audience. That's right.
So it was more or less like a joint venture, right? It was a joint venture.
Yeah, it was mostly, you can mostly say that, you know, he doesn't, it's not a standing offer.
So you can't re-tap into it?
It's difficult. He invited me once because HeartMath really aligned with this program, and he got a lot of benefit out of having HeartMath introduced, and now he's using some of my techniques in his program. So he used me to help him kind of augment his product a bit, to show him how that's done, and then now he's somehow using that. But, you know, he'll invite me again. I knew he was going to do that, but I made a lot of money from this guy.
But if you retailor something that it's a good fit again, like a second step,
Yeah.
you might be able to retap into the same
Yeah. Actually,
audience.
I've retargeted that group. Like the way I did it was when we did that, I did an upsell.
Yeah.
And then anytime anybody joins this list, I get an email with that person. And I've already in that particular sign up, when they sign up to his program, there's a statement that says you are giving Panther Power Corporation permission to email you. So I've already set it up such that everybody that signs up to his program, I'll get a trickle of an email. I add them to my funnel, and I retarget them. So anybody that's going through that program and has gone through that program, I've already retargeted them, and I've reached out. I actually tripled my list after that webinar.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm looking for are more alliances with others who have bigger lists. But what I need to do is I need to be able to bring something to the table, so it's a win-win. So I'm not always drawing from it. And I've got opportunities to speak in front of large crowds. It's just what I need to do is figure out a way to create a sustainable funnel, so that I'm not, and sustainable funnel will require different offerings at different stages, and I need to standardize those products so that I have one very strong funnel, and I put everybody through that funnel, and it's focused. That's really what my challenge is. Right?
Just one more question. We talked about this about 3 months ago or so. You have this presentation coming up in September, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes,
with the
in
German
Germany.
guys.
Germany, yeah.
Make sure that we'll talk about the German translation of stuff
Yes,
early
yes.
enough, so that it's not last minute.
Yes, as soon as I find out a bit more about what slots I have, what I'll be speaking about, I'll definitely ask you to help me do some translation on the reading techniques. That'd be wonderful.
And I would like to sit in this because I would like to get exposure to the different culture from insider.
Yeah, actually, what's interesting, there's another, probably.
Yeah.
They've actually that whole group of UEQ has broken into China, and they've got this huge magnate in China who's promoting this. He's got reach all over, and I don't. You've seen the cards, right?
Yeah.
These are emotional intelligence decks. Wow. It's like decks like this, a card game.
Yeah.
And this is gamification of emotional intelligence techniques. They're broken into China, and it's going to catch wildfire there. And
I believe it because the Chinese are attached to cards.
But they have very low emotional intelligence just from the cultural upbringing as well.
I understand, but the how, like any Chinese, majority of the Chinese people we see here in Canada, they always sit around cards. So, and they have different games than just the standard spade heart cards we use, that's right, the standard card decks. So if you go to people who really feel comfort with the tool of cards,
this becomes a part.
this actually just easy to.
Yeah.
That's good.
So yeah, that's exactly. So they've broken into China, and what they're doing is they're finding it. Speaking to your context, a lot of these things are emotions. You fill a card emotion. Oh, I feel appreciation when I think about all the people that are giving me advice right now. That would be the kind of billion neural net path. But what happens is in Chinese, that emotion may not translate to appreciation. So they're having a
Chicken soup.
they're having a
Soy
real
sauce.
hard time
Yes.
changing that into that. But I know they're working on that. That's the other part. Maybe and when I'm going to Germany, I want to take a bunch of these. But what's a German appreciation? What's a German anger? You know, those things. So yeah, there's a few things we could talk about.
No, we're good.
Getting in the Stau and the Autobahn, that's a German anger.
So maybe we can get Marcel to host one of the working group or one of the sessions. So if you don't mind, if anybody wants to get exposed to the German culture, so you can be the speaker of one of these sessions. You know, because it's very interesting. What I know is in Western Canada and Eastern Canada, there are the complete different dialogue you have to use. So, and the same for the US.
So you're talking about the sales dialogue or just any general dialogue?
Any general dialogue.
Really? Western and Eastern?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We are here in a conservative. We are here in a conservative group, and don't ask me what do you mean conservative country, but we are here in a conservative country. If you carry the same dialogue for a long time with somebody in Vancouver, in Toronto, in Montreal, they will not engage as somebody engaged here, even language-wise. Like when I did the study back 1998, I found out that you know the place where you go and pee. You know this place when you go and pee.
Yeah.
There are 27 names for it in the English language.
Oh yeah.
And these names are common in different places. So in Arkansas, they call it Johnny.
Yeah.
Here, they call it restroom or washroom. In Europe, they call it WC.
Wash closet.
They call it water closet. Water closet.
Water closet?
Yes,
Yeah.
in UK is a water closet. And WC actually comes from water closet. And toilet is a French, and
So-
toilet is a French name,
And then there's a double zero.
Toilet.
yeah, toilet is a French name. Toilet.
I know they call it cologne eau de toilette.
Oh,
Toilet
yeah.
water. What?
Yeah, so but toilet is used in a different places, which is English speaking as well,
Yes.
as
That's
definition.
UK.
And people,
The loo. But they use toilet as well.
Yes.
yeah, so there are 27 names for the place where you go do wash your hands and do pee.
The can. You gotta go to the can.
You know.
I gotta see a man on a
Shitter.
horse.
Shitter.
Yeah, so if you go to different places, even on the culture of sauces, like I'm not sure why I talk about restaurant now, but in restaurant business, a barbecue sauce is the standard expectation in southern US.
Barbecue sauce.
A barbecue sauce. So if you have a beef sandwich or any kind of meat sandwich, any kind of meat, like even shrimp, which is kind of meat.
It's just good.
You know, a barbecue sauce is the standard expectation.
Right.
So if somebody will come say, do you like an extra sauce? Don't say yes, because the extra sauce relate to what?
Barbecue sauce.
To barbecue sauce. Okay?
Just like tea is iced tea.
You know, like yeah, like they like a tea to have iced tea. Like ice itself. Like if you go to Europe and you ask for an ice, they give you one or two cubes. If you come to the US, you ask for ice,
Oh,
extra ice please. Like if you say extra ice please. Extra ice please in Europe is one extra cube. So you end up having 2 to 3 cubes in your drink in your glass, in your cup, not in your glass, because it's usually a big cup. Go to any place in USA or Canada and say extra ice please. You will find that they will top the half a liter or 1 liter cup with a slushy ice, and they will put that much drink. That's it. So these languages has lots of interesting connotation. So if I want to give an example in Europe, I say, and this was example of how can I fill a cup with an ice. People will not understand it. In US, it's just an extra. Like in Europe, it means lots of effort because you need to have 1 cup at a time. So the process of filling a cup with an ice is a process in Europe. In US, filling a cup with an ice means what? Extra ice. So that's why it's a very, very interesting science, which is what a culture.
Yeah, and there's also the idioms and the culture.
One more thing for you to know. there is a word in the Arabic language, which is maybe irrelevant, maybe not relevant, which is in Egypt means a very healthy, active boy.
Very healthy, active.
Active boy. So a young boy who will be very healthy, very active, very intelligent.
Yeah.
We call him this word. In Libya and Jordan, which we share territories, this word means son of the bitch.
No.
Yes,
Same word.
same word. So there were so many situations.
So.
شاي ولا؟
No, akrut.
اه عكروت.
Okay? So in many situations, you will go say, oh, this kid is like this word. If you say it in Amman or in, which is the capital of Jordan, you will be called to death. Because their parents will stand against you, and this is basically, you talk about how's their mom, and it's very bad word. So it's just one word, the same spelling, the same pronunciations.
The thumbs up gesture in Iran, it means something different.
Yeah,
Like this?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
it's a finger.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you have to be careful when you.
It's like in UK you can say, I'm going to blow a fag, which is I'm going to smoke a cigarette.
Cigarette, yeah.
But here it's something different.
And here
That's
also,
one for days, you know?
And the-
Person here saw, just
and the
like
question to you,
What is it?
What?
A fag is a cigarette.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fag is a cigarette.
and the question to you is, we go here buy drugs from London Drugs. So you go buy drugs from London Drugs, and drugs, we don't get high, because if somebody coming from UK, drugs means what?
That's like heroin, cocaine.
Okay.
all that stuff.
So we have in Canada a store called London Drugs,
Or Shoppers Drug Mart.
okay, or Jobber Drug Mart, and drugs doesn't mean
Like Rexall Pharmacy. I don't
pharmacy is the right name for
know.
it.
Yeah.
But we have here a publicly speaking drug. So when we had the legalization of marijuana, and we have discussion with people who came to Canada and they are friends living in Europe right now, he said, "Yeah, guys, what's new here? You already have London Drugs, and it's common. Like I never seen a place where you have like London Drugs on the street, and people actually walk to the store and come without arrest." So I had a hard time trying to explain this place does not sell illegal drugs. It sells drugs. And they, what does mean drugs?
Pharmaceuticals, yeah.
You know, and you have on shelf drugs.
Yeah. Over the counter.
So just a word drug in other cultures means something else. So if you can stand there and say, and I went to London Drugs and I bought some of the off-shelf drugs to treat my kid, people may what do you mean? Are you allowed to give your kids heroin or cocaine or marijuana or what?
Yeah, the two things.
I was
Yeah.
just one little story. I was with the CFO of Hunter Douglas in the US in Rotterdam at the headquarters, and we stayed in a hotel. But he said, like, "Wow, no, the breakfast at the hotel is so expensive. There's a coffee shop on the other side. Let's go there." But you know what the coffee shops are in the Netherlands?
No.
This is where you
Oh,
buy your
you-
where you buy
Oh.
your pot.
Really?
Yeah, so he's like, how is it called? The turnstile? At the coffee shop? Yeah.
Oh, they have a turnstile? in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
coffee
yeah.
shop?
Turnstile.
Yeah, turnstile, yeah. So, yeah.
Can you buy coffee there though?
You also can buy coffee there, but you normally don't.
And this is a model.
You don't get anything. Yeah, you get the cookies with the stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's it.
Well, why would you go for like weed instead of breakfast, like to get food?
Because he is going to a coffee shop. Well, what will happen if you go here to a coffee shop? You have a muffin and the coffees, right?
He didn't intend to go to a weed store. I think he was just saying.
Oh, he
Yeah.
wanted to go to the coffee shop.
He wanted to.
Like
Yeah,
he didn't know that it was
yeah,
weed.
yeah, exactly.
And this is a model of Second Cup, by the way. After July 1st, this will be the model of Second Cup. Second Cup signed up with the largest producer of marijuanas to carry it through the Second Cup chain.
So you mean they're going to sell marijuana brownies?
They will sell edible, yes.
I didn't know that.
So Second Cup is the only chain. So Shopper signed up, but Shopper is actually a pharmacy.
Yeah.
Shopper Drug Mart, okay. So they will sell real drugs, okay. And Second Cup is a very first coffee chain who signed up.
So Shoppers is gonna have a bakery all that.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So let's just give the last 15 minutes to the last hot seat. How is the hot your seat now? Do you want to just?
Sorry, your first name is?
My first name is Al Husseini, but I go by my last name Bakri, just to make it easier. I was a field engineer, petroleum engineer, till 2015, till I got laid off. I was able to get back in last year in August, and now I'm working as a chemist. So I have a 9-to-5 job, very steady, and I'm very grateful for that. I did life coaching for a couple of years before getting this job. Now that I have this job, I start working on my business, and I have about 3 clients. I'm planning on doing seminars and working with one-on-one to be able to kickstart my business. That's really where I am right now. I want to be able to think more about the value that I'm providing versus the money that I'm making or doing the coaching full time. So this is where I'm standing. I want to have different products. I want to be able to approach customers and potential customers, clients and potential clients through the different line of services that I want to provide. I'm also working on a book to collect stories of everybody about what they did and how they accomplished certain things that felt that it was impossible or they didn't know how to do it. But for them, there was no any other choice but to do it. And these are the stories that I'm going to collect and I'm going to put it in a book. And that will be another tool for me marketing myself. So to sum all that up, I'm ready to own my own business. I'm providing value, and I want to be able to reach more people and to get more referrals and provide more value.
What's your ask of us?
I'm starting. This is my ABC into business. Starting my own thing, being a small business, doing the whole 9 yards. So I want to be able to learn from your experience when you were in my shoes. What helped you the most? What are the ideas that when you accepted made a difference in your life and providing service for people? And if I can learn that from you guys, I'd be very grateful for it. So if anybody wants to share what was the breaking point for them to, leave the comfort zone and be like, okay, I'm going to be a business coach, or I'm going to provide people with service, or I'm going to do marketing for people, do taxes, or even coach people about their businesses. So if you guys want to share that with me, I'd really appreciate it.
Who wants to start?
I will. I think the important thing is knowing what your product is and the costing. Because I see a lot of business owners that get into business, but they don't really have define a true value. Like if they go to network marketing meetings, right? You go to network with other people, and whether it's a group that you belong to and stuff like that. But what's the true cost of you attending that? What's your time worth per hour to attend that? What's the value of maybe there's a membership to the group, maybe there's a month. A weekly food cost, right? $20 a week for the meal, right? If it's a
Please remember we are in Ramadan. Don't talk about the food.
Okay.
No, but I love what you said.
You look at the overall cost and say, okay, now what am I selling? Will I be able to recoup that or what's my break-even cost for that attendance? And then you look at everything that you do, whether it's a one-on-one, your cost of acquisition for the client, and say, okay, if I've got to do this, is this feasible, or are my prices too low, or where do I need to compensate, or maybe I have to have an entry-level product to be able to create that awareness towards a larger cost product.
Can we refocus this or label it or just summarize it as assess the value, as the effort, like estimate the return of investment of your own effort, and the effort will be partitioned into money. Most valuable is time, and maybe mental capacity, because sometimes you do things and then you can become overwhelmed. So you say, I want to now to just sleep because I did this particular activity. So this is a fair thing, like to label like.
And you look at a massage therapist, really they can only do like 5 clients a day, right? But they might have this big picture, thinking they could do $100,000 if they ramp up to 8 clients a day.
Mhm.
Well, there's a physical limitation on what they can do, right?
Thank you so much for that, Michael. When you started doing this, how did that impact your business and your clientele?
Wasn't so much in my business because I kind of looked at my costs and saying this is what I need
Okay.
per client based on the time investment. But I did notice I run an accounting office,
Okay.
so I see other clients that maybe aren't charging the right value for their services,
Okay.
or maybe they're giving away their service. They're going, well, I do so many free consults before I actually charge them, and then you can see other people taking advantage of that. So they're really making no money, but they're exchanging a lot of their time for no value. That's
How
probably.
did you get across that? How did you?
Oh no, you're not in the hot seat, so you have to respond. Okay, you have access to each other in the breaks. That's right.
Yeah, just think of that.
And on the Facebook
overall
group,
cost of what you're doing, and don't forget your time.
Right.
You know, your time has a value to it too. You know, I look at a lot of people do their profit and loss. They go, well, this is the cost of my goods, these are my expenses, and they go, where's your time in here? You've been doing this for a year. What's your time value? You work 8 hours a day, 4 hours a day. What do you value your time at? $20 an hour, $50 an hour?
and
It's not even in the calculations of the cost. So
I really appreciate it.
yes.
Thank you.
and on this last point, I had hard time, extremely hard time. You cannot believe it. How was really hard for me, and I have to say it in this way. When somebody opening a restaurant, I say, count for your hours. We don't have income to pay ourselves for our hours. Why would it? It doesn't matter. Make it as a shareholder loan. Make it as whatever. Just tell me you come to this restaurant, you work like 14 hours, and the three of you comes here work 14 hours. You have no customers. You don't have income yet. But just come after 3 months, 6 months, and say, I put in this business 6,000 hours unpaid, and make it as a shareholder loan. Make it as whatever. People don't do that. They no. It's okay. We just pay everybody, and we will come as support. They're like, can you really count? Can you come to the till and say check in, check out for you? No, we don't need to do this. We are owner. So this is actually related to your comment. Is that you have to count for your hours.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who else wants to chip in?
Do you have a product or service already, or are you developing?
You are firing back his question or what?
No,
No, he asked you the same question. I stopped it.
I'm just trying to figure out which phase of your.
I'm doing one-on-one coaching right now.
Yeah.
And I started with one client, 2 referrals within the same week.
Yeah.
And that's all I have. One-on-one, three clients, and feedback and the testimonial that they're willing to do is really good, because I focus, like I put myself in their shoes. You know, I don't think the money's coming, and I'm grateful for that. But my focus is on them and how their life could be better, and their life has been better.
Yeah. So my question was, I know you mentioned a book and all that.
Right.
So I'm just trying to get an understanding of where you are in your cycle.
I'm just
Product development versus. So you've got a product.
Right.
You just want to scale up. That
Sure. I want to be able to reach more people, to provide more services to
So
them.
then your question to us is, what have you learned? What benefits can we provide, or what can we tell you about our journey that will help you move forward?
When did you break through? When was the thing that?
Okay.
Yeah. When was the thing or the idea that you believed in and acted upon that helped you to reach more people and to grow your business?
So my breakthrough may not apply to you, but my breakthrough was me getting comfortable with my services for myself. So in other words, I didn't know if what I did for people actually benefited them. And to me, it was very important that if I charged them, I would charge them only if I provided value. That was the number one thing for me. So I did a lot of these. I went to people who could not afford my services because I knew they wouldn't pay me, and I didn't want to charge them. But I wanted to see if my business coaching helped helping them alleviate stress and anxiety helped. And I did that, and I found 100% of the time I gave them something of value, got the feedback. Once I got comfortable in my own abilities to be able to provide that service of value to others, that's how I gauged it. I started charging for that. Okay, and when I started charging for that, people actually did a lot more because they had skin in the game, and I found a higher amount of uptake on that. And I saw people actually, when they paid for it, they actually did the work. I said, "Wow, this is wonderful." And so what I found myself doing is I haven't even started really marketing myself, more like referrals coming in. So one of the ways that I was able to spark referrals is I joined a networking group. So I joined CIBN, which I'm no longer with them anymore. But when I joined CIBN, the first round was me going to an insurance broker and saying, well, okay, because every week in this referral meeting, you have to refer somebody. Okay, so it's you pay $150 a month, you get to go to 4 or 5 lunch meetings, which is all paid for, so 150 is the meeting fees, and then everybody has to say who they referred somebody in the group. So you have to refer at least one person. So I said, okay, well, here's my auto and car insurance. You go give me a quote, and that's my referral. He saved me $1,000. So I was halfway paying for my year's thing. Then somebody referred a client to me. This guy's my biggest client now, and he's latching on to me. He's calling me for every decision he has to make. So I realized that I've got something of value. Once I've got that of value, I can put the marketing materials together, get testimonials from people who are really thriving, and these are big business people. And that's how, for me, the breakthrough was getting my first big client, and the path to getting that breakthrough was first me being comfortable with providing value, and that was my own shit I had to get through, my own self-esteem crap, all of that. Once I broke through that, now I'm charging them money to do that. So that's my breakthrough.
Thank you so much for that.
Marcel,
When I started, I knew what I didn't want to do anymore. So I was sales director and led the project management group. So I didn't want to do that, and I went back to my resume to figure out that I still want to work with people, and that I always had been coaching, mentoring from the get-go, and that I always had a non-judgmental, empowering attitude. And I had a lot of people being very trustful and very open at a very early point. So that was the entry point for me. I tried a few things out in one-on-ones in order to test. And then I did my coaching certification too. What normally you don't have to. It's that I went through a coaching certification course, but then I didn't want to apply the way they used it because that didn't 100% click with me.
I get that.
So this is when I started looking at my own approach. And in Germany, that was like where I applied my strengths and funneling things down, make it simple. And this is how the whole story came. So what I did, and I'm a list freak to a certain degree.
Your turn.
And if it works for me and it works for my clients. So normally I challenge them with like this: write down what you really want, and then of course you have to match it what is needed out there and see how that fits, so that it's fun for you and success on the other side. If you have clarity about that, then it works very well with the clients. So the clients I have stayed long time with me and I was almost always capable of having an annual contract with them. So they had the test run and then an annual contract. So that was always very important for me. The tricky part is scaling up, and I know say that I'm standing in my own way sometimes there, for sure. So there's room for improvement. And finally enough, now I'm open to combine the best of two worlds. I'm working on a contract right now with a company which was in my area, and this is like where it's like, yeah, this is the best it can be. With all my knowledge here, which I can apply also from the other from other areas. So if you find that balance, and that might take some time. So maybe it was because I took the approach like what I don't want to do again, that I had also that period of time where I said, no, I don't want to touch this. But now I'm open for that. So if you find similarity in that, that would be the spots I would highlight to take a look at. But be clear on what you want and why you're doing it for yourself. What are you getting out of this? So for me, there's nothing greater than seeing other people being successful and empowered. And that's where I bring my energy. And yeah, if I get the text message with like the 60 predicted successes my clients have, that's very huge for me. It might be something different for you.
No,
So you have to find that in order to tap into this.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I also love lists, by the way. I go by them and doing everything. Like showering, brushing, flossing. I put this all on the list. The homework for my clients is always a list on how they can see things differently, so that the list works.
Yeah. I just posted that. If you want to, because that creates so much more capacity in your brain, because you don't have to think about it. If you do something twice, have a list for it, because then it's out of your brain. And this gives you so much more capacity to be creative. And if there's something weighing you down, write it down, because then it's out of your head, and you can actually look at it. So those are the things I use also with my clients. It's normally the initial step and the first time when they can take off the backpack. They're still holding it behind them, but it's off the head for sure.
Thank you so much.
So you had your answer?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Really,
Anything else?
No, I'm completely thank you.
So now it's 10:30, so can we have like a 10 minutes break so we reconvene at 10:40?
Copyright 2017 Win Your Brand. All rights reserved. This video is subject to copyright owned by Win Your Brand. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this video is expressly prohibited. Unless Win Your Brand has explicitly granted its prior written consent, all other rights reserved.